Welcome. I am Reverend Stephanie Neal. We are continuing our study within the House of Time. I am naming this lesson Travelers. We are time travelers exploring, researching, and experiencing through the goddess by changing our focus and perception to the fluidity of time. Crystal High Corral once shared the following experience with her World Walker students. Quote, "Many years ago, my spirit guides gave me an image of a large field of a vast variety of colorful blooming flowers as an example of time. Each flower was a single event in time. By focusing on a specific flower, I was able to experience the event it symbolized." Close quote. So as you can see, all time can be visited for the first time or revisited for the third or fourth time, all to learn and become more aware within each experience. It is like watching a movie again and again, and with each time you see or receive something new that you did not notice previously. Considering this way to study time, see this field in your mind's eye. Create your physical safe space as always. From this perspective, utilize this field of flowers to pick a single special event, such as your birthday or Yule, or a special time that was and is incredibly meaningful for you. See yourself slowly walking through this field of wildflowers. Focus on one flower at a time with the intention of experiencing one specific time unit. After a few moments, find yourself inside one flower within a day in the late 1900s that was meaningful to you. What are you doing? What decision are you making? Or what experience are you going through? Now look around you, see where you are, and the people within this day holding on to this memory. Allow yourself to pull out of this flower. Now, we are going to walk through the field of flowers and enter the flower that calls you to come in, jumping into the early 1700s. At the age of 21, what are you doing? What are you thinking? What are you dreaming? What do you need to thrive? What do you need to survive? Do you need a better form of communication? Peace and quiet? A better home? What are you experiencing? Everything for this journey is tied together Just allow memory to be easy and relaxed. Now move out of this flower and continue your walk through the field. This time, find a flower that will take you into the year 3000. Go to the age 38. Now, what are you experiencing? What do you feel? Spend a few moments here. Now pull out of this flower. Continue walking. As you walk this field, consider, what do you now remember? What happened in the 1700s? Then remember what you experienced in the 1900s. Then remember what you experienced in the year 3000. Holding all this information, what are you experiencing now? Even if there is no seemingly sameness, there is. You may or may not see the same strand through each life at this point. However, go ahead and take these 3 strands of life and begin seeing yourself weaving these 3 experiences into one strand of strong, lighted consciousness, allowing it to float in the breeze over this field of beautiful wild flowers. Returning to this strand as often as you prefer to learn more about the fluidity of time. Now pull yourself into the center of this field. Between each lifetime, to simply rest under the sun's rays or the moon's rays, or pull yourself in the center of the field after you have visited your events. Asking yourself, how did each life feel? What did I discover, or write, or heal, or sing? What am I doing to help the world, or my family, community, the earth beneath my feet? Bless all your lives as you stand in the center. Bless all these brilliant flowers as you see it expanding beyond your sight. Honor it, respect it. Now return to the center that you are living in now, the center of the flower you are living in now. Clear and release. Bless you. When it's time to return to this field, see yourself entering this time in a life with which you are the most evolved. Ground to release. Resting here for several moments. What are you doing when you are the most evolved being? This field may be visited as often as you like. Taking notes is important if you are studying time. The next time you visit, the flower field, experience the leaves of each flower, because they represent the animals and the individuals that are directly or indirectly part of your most important experiences relating to specific events. What have you learned and how can you apply it to your life now? The next time you take a walk through the flower field, see yourself giving a single flower to all your mothers. Continue walking on. See yourself picking and giving a flower to all your fathers. Continue on to pick a few more flowers, and as you walk, give a flower to everyone that has been and will be a loving support in your life, your wife, your husband, your partner, friends, uncles, brothers, aunts, sisters, all lives. Explaining all your lives, Crystal explained all our lives are as if we are living in a tall city building with hundreds of floors. Each floor represents a single life. We choose if our next life will be the second floor. We choose if our next life is going to be on the 100th floor. We go forward and backwards as we experience our lives. Now let us make this even more complicated. All this happens at the same time. An example of this is, picture a big sheet of paper. Then fold this single sheet of paper into a fan like a child would make. You fold 1 inch of the paper over, then you go in the opposite direction and fold another inch of the sheet. Continue folding at 1 inch intervals until the entire sheet of paper is completely folded like a fan or accordion. Now take a sharp sewing pin, knitting pin, or a knife and poke a hole in the center of the folded paper. You see, this is an example, I think a good example, of what you look like and how you relate to all your lives. Because notice when you stabbed through the entire folded paper, you only made 1 hole. This is you inside time. You are the single space created by a single knife piercing. You are the empty space. You are the knife, and you are the very center of that intersection of the knife, paper, and single space. This single opening represents you living all your lives at the same time and space. Now, remove the knife and open the sheet of paper, which clearly expands to many apertures, representing many lifetimes again, going across the entire single sheet of paper. See, all lifetimes are created from one lifetime, and one lifetime is created by all lifetimes. Revealing your skills as a conscious incarnate. When studying time magic, discussing the subject of seeing yourselves as a conscious incarnate quickly comes into time play if you choose. The reason for this is conscious incarnates have a a high awareness of time and relationship to their own lives, and some can help others with their next life creations. Yet one does not need to be a conscious incarnate in the beginning to learn about time magic. Though this is where, if one continues to practice, the skill will land you on the shores of a conscious incarnate journey. Every step of the journey is yours to take or not to take. Before you take this journey, carefully re-examine your beliefs. Believing in yourself is crucial because you cannot experience and learn past your own belief system. If you believe you are capable of being a conscious incarnate, you will see you are already a conscious incarnate, and you are just receiving a refresher course. So enter this journey believing you are already fluent with this skill. As you practice on a regular basis, the more you remember and experience. Conscious incarnates help the newly dead to find their next life. Yet before we can help other souls find their lives, we need to take many journeys to develop our own. And of course, conscious incarnates do other things with the newly dead too to help them connect with their ancestors and to make them feel comfortable and reassure them. So it's just not as simple as I'm explaining it here, but I'm mostly focused in on the beginning steps of recognizing the awareness of what you are. So as we develop our own lives, the more proficient we become within this time skill. With that said, let us take an open-eyed journey to our next life. And you can do this with other folks as well. Secure a piece of chalk or pencil as well as something, it's like a large sheet of paper. And I say chalk or pencil because that's easily erased, so it can be easily changed if you want to change anything. So you can use a black construction paper for this exercise. By the end of this exercise, you will have a beautiful start to a blueprint of your next life. Now, of course, it does take much more than just drawing your future on a piece of paper. However, this exercise beautifully sends you on your journey as you continually add to this sheet of paper. So, here we go. Divide a sheet of paper into 8 equal sections, or 8 squares. You can fold it, or you can just mark it in 8 sections. It's up to you. Number each section, and I will be asking several questions where you will answer on the appropriate section on the paper, but yet even if you place it in the wrong square, it really doesn't matter. You may answer through words or symbols. If you are going to use abstract symbols, then make sure when you are finished with this exercise that you remember what your abstract symbols mean. So here we go. So the first question and first square on the sheet of paper. In my next life, who are my parents? What are the characteristics of my parents? And so fill in that first square. What parenting style will they exhibit? And place it in the same square. The second question in second square. What is my gender? Third square, or third question. What country will I live most of my life, if not all my life? Fourth question. What style of living will I live? An example of this is, well, you live the country life, high on a mountain, on an island, city life, cultured life, simple life, on a farm. Fifth question. What are your main missions in your next life? Remember that word was plural. You do not need to have just one mission in life. You can have as many as you choose. What is your overall style when presenting your gifts to the world? Same square, fifth question. Sixth question. What do you want to experience or learn or change? Seventh question. What do you want to receive? Things, experiences, drama, enjoyable, supportive relationships, animals, education, projects, skills, philosophy. You get the point, on and on and on. Eighth question. What do you want to give? Time, money, education, energy, healing, art, music, joy, and once again, so on and so on. Then right in the very center of the sheet of paper, across the entire length of the section paper, these two questions. How aware am I in my next life? In other words, how open to consciousness that you feel you are, and spirituality. Second question, how aware am I now? After you have completed this journey activity, start adding more specifics, changing anything you do not like, adding or subtracting things you are creating in your next life. Soon you will notice some of these things will start bleeding into this physical life you are living now, as well as the opposite will be true. Think about your next life. However, your priority is always this life of which you are aware now. There are so many things you will experience as you share your skills and care for those in this life. Your best days are ahead of you within this life. You have just created a blueprint of your next life. Now go out and live the life you are living now. Until next time, blessed be.